Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It is Wednesday night, March the 9th, and these are the charts of the day. Today I'm going to go over longs and shorts as the market is not giving clear signals, and I'm seeing trends in both directions. So let's take a look at some of the best of both worlds. And at least take a look at some of the stocks that had dramatic moves today. In particular, AeroVironment, which had been consolidating nicely for 2 months, exploded today with a breakaway gap and closed up 382 on 2 million shares, 13%. That's the biggest volume that stock has traded in a long time, at least since last June, so a good 8 or 9 months. The January 10 high is up around 35 and a quarter, a half area, may be tested very shortly. That's our short-term target. If it does get beyond that, I can see the stock moving up and towards the 40 area. That's the highs from back in 09. Up next is Bonton Stores, which we've seen before and has had a big move, particularly in 09 and early 10, but then it consolidated, pulled back, and then consolidated. Broke out last month on a big surge and then went into a 3-week coil. That coil was broken today with a pop of $1.62 or 10.5%. Volume surged to the biggest volume we've seen of Bonton since also June of last year. So significant stuff going on in that stock in particular. And if you draw lines across the tops and bottoms and draw yourself a parallel channel, I could see a projection on Bonton up around 22, 22 and a half for a potential swing trade, but there is some resistance at about 1865, which I expect to be tested shortly. That's the April high, and that would be my initial minor target and secondary target at 22 and a half. CHSI had a big day today, breaking out of a 4-month coil, or wedge, I should say, and popped with a big breakaway gap and opening up about 6 points higher and closing up 831, 18.66%, 1.4 million. That's the heaviest volume since last September. And at this point, when you look at the long-term channel, I'm projecting something in the mid to high 60s eventually, but my short-term trading target is in the high 50s. Significant price volume surge and breakaway today from about a 10-month, almost 11-month coiling base pattern on CIGX. Now you can see last year when the stock ran up, we participated in that run. It pulled back down and then based out for many, many months. The reason we went and traded the stock today is because of the breakaway gap that I saw. I mean, the breakout over the 209, 210 zone. The stock ran up to 247, and for a gain of 34% or 16.5% today. But the volume of 10.7 million, the biggest we've seen in this stock in a long time, going back to April of last year. So at this point, I'm looking for 3 short-term, secondary target about 365. Majesco Entertainment, cool. Spiked up today 35% or 58 cents on 8.1 million shares, by far the biggest volume ever that we can see. So significant move, but there is overhead resistance up around the 240.60 zone, 245.60. I expect that to be tested shortly. That's my short-term target. A take out of that level, and we could possibly see a longer-term move that takes it up in the up towards 4, at least an intermediate move to 4. So my targets are 3 and 4. Cost plus CPWM, which has been a pretty intriguing kind of stock, both in early 010 and then at the end of the year, had been consolidating in a coiling type pattern consolidation for the last 3 months, 3.5 months. Today popped $1.45 and exploded out of that across the 20, 50-day moving average declining tops line and ran right up to that snapback high from January before backing off, but still closing up at $1.45 on 1.3, almost 1.4 million shares, 16% today. So a move through this level, that's something to watch. Should yield a run at the 12.5, 12.75 range with an intermediate to longer term target up around 16. CR9, big day today. You can see that a couple weeks ago it popped and then flagged for about 7 sessions. Today it exploded with a big breakaway gap, up about 4.5, 5 points, and then on the gap, and then closing up 715 today at 46, up 18.4% on 1.4 million. Also the strongest volume quite a while in the stock, going back to 08. That's 3 years now. Looking for a run up to test the $50 range, short-term target. If it gets through that, mid-50s potentially. Interesting action in the last several sessions in Kung Zone, which popped 4 days ago, followed through the following day, backed off on Monday, today, and then yesterday rallied right back up with a follow through today, up 37 cents, 4%. Volume increasing a little bit, and looks to me like a test of this $10 range may take place short term, maybe even as quickly as tomorrow, 10, 10 and a quarter. Secondary target up around 12 3/4. KV has been running, but it backed off just a tad today. However, it had a sort of an inside quiet day, and I think that let's not say too quiet. 5 million shares is not quiet for that stock, but the pattern appears to be that the stock wants to go higher, and I'm still looking for a big move up in the stock to get into mid-teens and then high teens, maybe 20 on KV. Reddit had a big day today, popping 63 cents on 1 million shares, biggest volume since early February. It's about 5 weeks. It appears that it broke the declining top line and closed right at it. So any follow through here is going to be key. If we can get through here, we can get through the 21-day, 50-day moving averages and declining tops line. That would trigger a pop up towards the $8 range. My initial target, secondary target at 985.90. RGR, our swing trade, which we called around 17 on the breakout with a target around 20, just hit 1985 today, right near our target. Secondary target at 22.5. RPRX wanted to show you this beautiful little 5-day or 6-day pennant, our flag, and it's very tight and very, very quiet line as well. So any move out of this could be explosive, and I would call for a target near 9. And that's it for the longs today. Let's take a quick look at some of the box of shorts. Broadcom, which had formed a topping rounding top, broke down, rallied back to the neckline, and now it's backing off today, off 36 cents, but it was down under 41 point. There's support at around the 39 and a quarter half area. If that breaks, I'm looking for 37 and then 35 and 5.5 area on Broadcom. Cloud Peak Energies rolled over hard to test the October, November, December support area and then bounced in a bear flag fashion to the moving averages, which have crossed over and have rolled over. This whole process looks like a top. Key is 19, 20, 25 area, breakdown through that, and the stock could see something around the 16.5 area. CPLA rolled over for $1.97 today, and maybe failing right here, and if it does, we could see a quick hit down towards 51, secondary target at 47. Cree got hit today for $2.52 or 5%. It broke through this little platform that's been holding for about the last 4 or 5 weeks. Now testing September, October double bottom. Actually took it out by a tad today at the close. It looks like this may be headed sharply lower. If it is, look for something down around the $40 range for the next major support level. That a test of that area may ensue. Expeditors, which had a big move earlier last year, but then formed the rising wedge, then rolled down, bounced to the moving averages, failed hard, and now it's formed a bear flag. This bear flag has implications of lower levels. Looking for 43, 3.5. Eventually, if we take out 46.5, with a potential down around 39 eventually. HXM in a very sharply declining mode has dropped off rather dramatically here from the 36 level down to the 25 level over the course of the last several months, with an accelerated decline in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it may at some point snap back, but this is a bear wedge, make no mistake about it, and lower levels may be seen. Momentum is now to the downside on this. My target short term is around the 23.5, 24 zone. Netflix looks awfully toppy here. I wanted to show you that. This big run up of last year. It's peaked out at 247. The stock rolled over hard, bounced for a few days, and then took out initial support and trend line and 50-day moving averages to now move below those levels. And up next, a move or a test at 175 may be forthcoming with an ultimate target down around 160. NTAP, NTAP, broke its trend channel, rolled over hard. The moving averages are crossing over and rolling over, and it's forming a bear flag. This looks like a test of the 46 area, 46.5 area may take place, but if it breaks that, we can see a real strong sell-off down towards the 40 zone. Rovi, which we put out as a swing trade today, beautiful top, hard hit, and a bounce up to resistance, starting to roll over here. Down 43 cents today, but a lot more could be seen if this thing starts to roll hard. And I have a target now down around the 47.5, 48 zone initially. And that's it for the shorts and the longs. Some ideas on both sides of the coin. Let's see which way the market goes. The next couple of days may yield some clues. Have a good evening.